All right, here we are. Thank you for joining me, Floribert. I've got a great guest today. Thank you for joining us online. Many blessings to you. So let's just get right into it. We were talking before we pressed record.
Yes.
About things that we've been talking about over the last couple days. I just met you 2 days ago, and your story and the issues that you were talking about are incredible and something that I really want to share with other people. So without any more delay, would you like to introduce yourself and introduce the issues?
Thank you so much. My name is Floribert Mubalama, and I'm a refugee leader who lives in Washington State, Seattle, and I'm the founder of the Congolese Integration Network, a grassroots organization, we call them CBOs, that is working to support the integration, to facilitate the integration of new arrival immigrants and refugees in our area. So we provide holistic services that help refugees adjust with the system, adjust with the culture, adjust with the language, adjust with the workforce, adjust with the health system. So from the country they're coming from to this country, there are so many things to learn, and it is a process. So we took them to the journey of becoming better citizen.
And that's your organization, but give the people a little bit of a rundown on what is going on in the Congo. What is the cause and the need for your organization? Why are there refugees? What is the issue?
The issue in the Congo right now, I can say that the country hasn't stood up yet. It's still scrolling. And I can say that the Democratic Republic of Congo, the country I'm coming from, it is a country that is among the top 10 poorest country in the world. But at the same time, which is a little bit an opposing fact, it is among the top 10 richest country in terms of mineral resources. And it keep me don't understand why a country can have the two positions at the same time, poorest in the country, top 10, and top 10 richest. So it make me don't really understand what it is. And I can say since the country has never quit or earned its independence, economic independence yet. So it's a country that was colonized by the Belgium. It was a property of the King Leopold II. And Leopold II owned Congo. It was his own property. He was using it to do business with other countries. And then he gave the ownership of Congo to the Belgium. And when the ownership was transferred to the Belgium, it became officially colonized by the Belgium. So during the independence process, so African countries were proclaiming independence. So during that period, 1996, so it's 1960s, that's the good way to say it. The Congo wanted also to be independent. And the problem of Congo started right there, when the country wanted to become sovereign or independent. I can say what was the initial problem was that the country gained independence without proper preparations. So the country was not prepared enough to become independent because the Belgium didn't want to leave Congo. They were forced to leave Congo. So there were two movements. The first movement that was led the first movement wanted the Congo to go through a process of independence which would have taken 30 years. So from 1960s, it was supposed to take 30 years for the leaders, the Congolese, be prepared, educations, all institutions to be put in place for the country to stand by its own. But the other movement were claiming that no, we can do it right now. We can do it right now. And the movement that wanted the country to be prepared for 30 years was led and comprised also the Catholic Church and the missionaries. So they supported the idea of those are our intellectual Congolese elites who wanted that. So the other group, they didn't want it, but they gave a good offer. They gave the offer that yes, we can still go on with it, but maintaining the relationship with the Belgians. So in the management of the country. So unfortunately, the independence happened, and when it happened, the leaders and all those who were on the position of power, they became very quickly corrupted. Because in Belgium, there was a budget that was voted to go back in Congo and begin to corrupt those leaders who were elected so that they can work for them. So that was a national legislative, basically a corruption was voted in the Belgium legislation to go and begin to buy Congolese leaders, new elected. And remember, they were not yet experienced enough. They are still brand new, and at the same time, they plan to corrupt them.
So let me get this straight.
Yeah.
Belgium was forced to relinquish the Congo as a territory. And in that process, there were two groups. There was the group that wanted the independence right away, and then there was the group that wanted the independence after 30 years.
30 years.
And somehow which group won in that?
So the group that won was the group that wanted the independence right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
And then the Belgians were able to do some sort of, was it like some sort of covert operation, or what is this to buy politicians in the Congo? What is this? I don't understand that.
So that you understand that Congolese were not yet prepared. They had the wealthiest, richest country in the world, and they didn't know about it. So the riches of the Congo were basically in the mineral, the natural resources. And they were not really prepared to transform their own natural resources. So the Belgium had the secret of the country. And now you become independent, you own the parliament, you own the executive, everything. So there have to be a way we work with you and you prioritize us so that we can still maintain our access to the things that we know they are in your country.
So they used the weakness of the newly formed Congolese government to exploit the resources.
They used the weakness. But how do they use that weakness? They divided them first. By dividing them with corruption. But that's when there was one leader who was not ready for corruption. And when the leader saw that they are corrupting the other, he was the Prime Minister, and that's the name of Lumumba. And Emery Patrice Lumumba is one of the Congolese leaders who foresaw the plan and didn't buy into it. So he didn't want to be corrupted. And since he knew that those who are trying to corrupt them are also the former colonizers, so they are doing that for business, for mineral economy, to the economy. He changed the politics. So he went to partner with the Russian. And when he accepted to partner with the Russian, that deal he made with the Russian took his life. And that was just a year after the independence. He went, he left, and they killed him. And his body have never been buried to date.
Did they never find him?
Never find him. They have stories that he was cut piece by piece and burned into the acid. So recently, we heard that there is a Belgian who had his teeth, one of his teeth, and he is trying to sell that teeth to the Congolese government. And there have been a deal recently of the teeth of Lumumba to be transferred to Congo so he can receive proper burial. When intellectual Congolese heard about it, they were a little bit surprised that can you organize a national burial just for a thief? And the person himself have never had justice. Because first of all, you have to judge the perpetrators because they killed a prime minister and the leader of independence, a hero of your country. So, there have never been any justice, any tribunal that convict those people. But someone come with a thief, and that person says that he is the witness of the death of Lumumba. But instead of taking him to justice, you want to make a deal. So, there are things there. So, look, those are the I can say the roots of the crisis of Congo. But after 5 years from independence, 1965, the country, the regime, there was a coup. The coup that, after a lot of crisis anyway, but there was a coup that brought to power the President Mobutu. You have heard maybe about him, Mobutu Sese Seko. He was a dictator. He was a dictator, and but he had something that he did great, Mobutu. He did what he did. He pacified the country, unified the country, and made sure that all the Congolese, they live together.
I see him here.
Oh, yeah.
Mobutu, he looks real good. He's fresh, he looks clean here. Look at this.
Oh yes, oh yeah, that's the guy. So he made a very good deal with American for the CIA to protect him. He was well protected, and the only thing that he didn't do for his country, he didn't develop the country. Although he knew that the country is rich and has everything, he didn't develop his country or use the mineral resources, the natural resources that he has to build the country, develop, and give the people a good living life.
So he wasn't a good leader then.
He was a dictator.
Mm-hmm.
He was a dictator. And he didn't give a chance to his country to prosper. He made himself prosper and his friends. And that's all he did. But of course, when you work with people and for so long you enjoy power, you are not distributing the wealth, people get tired of you. So people got tired with him, and that the 1990s, when there was a process of democratization of the country became democratic because it was a dictatorship system. So they wanted to implement democracy in the Congo, and they want, first of all, to allow many political parties, because there was just one. They wanted to allow many political parties, which was also another mistake, Because when a country has 50, 100 of political parties, then it becomes more corrupted, you know. And so they came to an agreement to allow many political parties in the countries, but at the same time, they wanted, first of all, to have the power to distribute, so among other political parties, so they can have equal share in the management of the country. So, but the process of democracy failed in 1993. So when it failed, there was a conference organized, they called it Conférence Nationale Souveraine. It was the national conference where all the political leaders, all the chiefs came together, discuss how we're gonna change the system, the political system in our country, from dictatorship to democracy. But Mobutu made that conference fail. At the end, all the agreement went in the water. So that began the crisis. So the crisis began in 1993. And there was a plan now with all the other partners of Mobutu. They abandoned him. And he became sick. He was suffering from prostate. So he was going into his incapacity. So they wanted him out. And to take him out, the only way they chose to do it was to launch a rebellion. But that rebellion didn't start right away. There was a plan, first of all, to take Rwanda and to make sure there are neighboring countries that will be ready, not ready to welcome Congolese refugees, but ready to be used as, I can say, as black markets for the Congolese mineral.
So it was a plan in a way to divide and destabilize the region so that they could extract the resources. So
you got it right.
So and this is crazy to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know too much about this, but I know a little bit. So the Rwandan genocide, where the Hutus and the Tutsis killed each other, that was, in your estimation, started because of these forces going on in the Congo. Because in Rwanda, you're saying there's not as many resources, there's not as many minerals, so why would the conflict be there? It was a proxy conflict for the conflict in the Congo.
Now that people are opening their eyes, before we are very sorry for what has happened in Rwanda, first of all. Very sorry because those are lives that have been taken. But politically, we understand that it was a plan. It was a plan to destabilize the region. And it has succeeded anyway. But that plan, it did not only want to have Rwanda as a backup, but also Uganda, because Uganda prepared some of the activities that happened in Rwanda. And Burundi, because also the president of Burundi was killed in the same time with the president that was killed in Rwanda before the genocide. So we can see that the crisis began in the region with Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda. But at the same time, there were also Somali that was used, Ethiopia was used, Sudan, Tanzania. Because those are the countries that were really bordering with the eastern part of Congo.
Where the copper belt is.
Not only copper belt. Congo is crazy when we come to talk about mineral. Uranium, The uranium was exploited during that period as well. Copper, silver, tin, coltan, gold, and gas, natural gas.
Oil too?
Oil is plenty of oil, but they have never really taken all of it because they have to begin at least to build some infrastructure. Or no one is ready to build infrastructure in the Congo. They prefer build them abroad and exploit in a black market. So now the crisis began in 1993. 1994, we watched the genocide happening in Rwanda, and we welcomed millions of Rwandese refugees in our country, in the Congo. We welcomed as well some Burundian refugees in 1993 in our country. So the crisis began, we transfer from a political force to humanitarian. So what was seen was just humanitarian crisis. The political remained hidden and not spoken. The economical remained hidden, not spoken. So we were facing a humanitarian crisis in 1994. Genocide in Rwanda, refugees in Congo. Now, the refugees we came into our country, they came with weapons. They were armed people. They were coming with grenades, with weapons, everything. Who allowed that?
Bureaucrats?
There was a United Nations force in Rwanda from France that they were like the peacekeepers, and they were the one controlling the borders and everything. They had the role to make sure that so many lives are not taken, and also that our country also is safe. But they didn't do well their jobs. Their job, they didn't do it right. So that was another failure of the UN peacekeepers in Africa. Because genocide happened right in front of them, and they didn't stop it. Millions of people come, and they were also accompanying those people to enter Congo. The people who became the nightmare for our country today. So, from 1994 to date, Congo is still experiencing violence after the other. So, in 1996, a war started in the Congo. So, who started the war?
The rebels from Rwanda, right?
The rebel that was supported by Rwanda and so many countries in Africa. That was a war that claimed to come to change the regime in the Congo. It was well justified, and many Congolese supported it because they never knew how things will end. You know, I came to realize that a war is like a project. That those who are planning the project, developing it, they are the only people who knows the outcome. And they're the only people who knows what the expectations are. So you join in the course as a client, you join as a partner, a contractor, but you are not the owner of the vision. So Congolese supported them. Those who came claiming that they want to change the regime and give a better life for Congolese. And they open everything for them to go all the way up to the capital city.
I think here we call that sort of process, or some people do, the military-industrial complex. And we're, in America, very familiar with it.
Oh, yeah.
But I can see that it's not a it's not an American creation. It's maybe a human creation that when there are resources, people who are in power can use conflict and can use dividing people against each other to create a distraction.
Yes.
So that they can go in and extract the resources without being interrupted or without having, political red tape or without having to create infrastructure or whatever it is. And so it's very concerning that that's going on, and it's what are we going to do about getting each other united so that we're not divided anymore, and then looking at the people who are in power and saying, we are not going to be manipulated and used by you anymore. How are we going to get to that point?
To get to that point, look, so right now we have 12 million lives that have been taken as a result of this conflict.
I think that's very important.
12
million lives in
12
this
million
conflict.
lives since 1994 in Congo to date. And 12 million lives, it's almost like, those are numbers of countries. I was in Malawi. The country had only 6 million people. Now, come to the point that we have taken 12 millions. It is huge. We have had 6 million people displaced. 6 million displaced as a result of this conflict. So, displaced, they lost their houses, their loved one, their houses, their loved one, and also their properties and everything. So, I can say that we have had more than 10 million women raped as a result of this conflict, because it has been documented that the Congo has become the world capital of rape. Well documented, scientifically proven. When we have these damages already happening, the world capital of rape, the DRC, we have had not only what I've just mentioned, but we have had the education of the entire country damaged. The education system. Because that was the initial way to begin to destroy us. Taking away, not giving us a good, better education. When you are not well educated, then you will not defend yourself. You don't know everything that you're supposed to do. Not only that, the entire country's infrastructure have been destroyed completely.
By the war.
As a result of this conflict. So we don't have roads that unite province and country, farland villages. So many people live in isolated in their own country. The trade and economical system of the country have been taken away by foreigners. All of it. So we are being fed by foreigners. So we have become more dependent than the time of colonization. Much more dependent. Corruption have taken over every aspect of life, of government. It's a mafia. And recently the president of Congo has had an interview on one of the radio called Top Congo. He acknowledged that his country is like a mafia. So,
I think a lot of people here feel like it is too. But
it is. Yeah.
But you're sorry for interrupting. What were you going to say there?
I was saying that now we have the entire country that have more than 100 million lives. All have become traumatized or have traumatic experience as a result of this conflict. To heal the country, to change the situation, is not as easy as people think. Not as easy as people think. So that's why we have more than 18,000 or 20 million UN peacekeepers in the Congo. And they have been there, unfortunately. They have been there since the crisis. And people are being butchered, killed in front of them. So the 12 millions died, lost their lives in front of the peacekeepers, the UN peacekeepers. People can be killed even meters from their building. And they have all the resources. That's what makes me a little bit uncomfortable. They have everything, the best weapon, best equipment to defend and protect people.
Why don't they?
Why don't they? It's a very huge question, and themselves, they don't answer that question themselves.
Is it because of bureaucracy? Is it because they have rules? Is it because what could it even be?
So, it is not an answer that I do have. But I'm just surprised that we have come to this point under their watch.
And you're saying that this is not just happened in the Congo. This happened in Rwanda. This happens in other places in the world. Perhaps maybe Somalia is another example.
Yes.
Right? Where all of these UN peacekeepers are dispatched.
Yeah.
But then what is the result? What is
the result? And why do we call them peacekeepers? Why do we even call them peacekeepers? It's just to write report.
to feel good, to say we did something?
We saw something. So because in the Congo, we saw this. They witnessed the murder, the rape, the looting of the country. And the UN appeared to be the largest agency in the world. And countries are contributing for the UN to be what it is. Even the Security Council is within UN. And they have power to make decisions, to stop things. Remember that. How did Germany got reconstructed? The UN participated and supported the reconstruction plan of Germany. Japan, the UN participated and supported that. So, as African, black, I can say that there is a very bad plan against us. Because the intervention that comes in Europe, in Asia, is not the same intervention coming to Africa.
What are the differences?
The differences are Japan was destroyed and reconstructed quickly with a plan that was supported by the entire world. It is what it is today. Germany was destroyed after the Second World War. And we have a plan and agreed, the martial law plan, that have reconstructed Germany very quickly. And it is a developed country. But tell me any African country that have been destroyed.
Seems like a coincidence that why is it that those countries cannot be rebuilt?
Why those countries cannot be rebuilt? Why? And we have been good partners. everybody. Remember that the World War II was stopped by the mineral that was taken from Congo.
Is it because in the Congo, resources are what they want, whereas in Germany and in Japan, they want the people to be the product. They want the people to be successful so that they can do, German engineering or Japanese engineering, right? Whereas in the Congo, they say, we just want the resources, so we don't care about
So
them.
now who is killing us? Because we are looking for perpetrators so they can be taken to justice. And if we come to the point that the UN is among the perpetrators, will the world stand? Who will take the UN to the justice? Because this is the case. For me as a victim survivor, I need UN to respond to so many questions. And why they didn't stop 12 million to die, 10 million to be raped, 6 million to be displaced, and so on and so on. But the other consequences, countries are being developed, technology is booming as a result of this conflict.
That's important. I think that's an important point to make, is
Yeah.
the technology and how that is affecting this.
So you see, people are suffering. People are dying. Women are being raped, weaponized even. Because now in Africa, women are the weapon of the war that happened. They are being used in every plot possible. And countries are getting rich. The other side of the world. Individuals are becoming billionaires. And this is what we are experiencing. I became a refugee. I didn't want it. There was no day I was dreaming to come in America. I didn't dream it. I was dreaming to serve my country, to grow up and help my country. I never dreamed of coming here as a refugee. It is the consequence of this conflict that I'm here. I'm grateful because I'm still alive and because this country has peace. So, if people and companies are getting richer, if countries are being used as black market to commercialize the mineral from the Congo, if the UN has a report of more than 500 pages documenting more than 600 crimes, knowing who are the perpetrators, and they don't create a international criminal tribunal courts to convict these people. Because in the report they say Congo is corrupted, and also the judicial in the Congo, they are unable to implement justice. The only people who have the power to do so is the UN Security Council. And they are not doing it. And if they don't do it, they are also among the perpetrators. History must take them to justice. So this is the scenario here. It is so big that so many people have lost their lives. So many media have been silenced. So many companies are not willing to give the numbers of what is really going on. It is unfortunate that the most developed countries are not standing, no one is standing for Congo.
And if I can interrupt for a second, that's That's kind of why I want to do the podcast. That's kind of why I want to do the very little bit that I can in this country, because we have so much opportunity, we have so many resources,
Yep.
and now, partly thanks to the resources in your country, we have the technology to spread information all over the world without having to go through the filter of the media that may be part of the corruption that you're talking about and may not want to get the information out. That lithium ion batteries are coming from this cobalt mines,
yes,
which are coming, it's blood, you know? There's
It's
blood
blood.
all over it.
Your laptop, I was about trying to claim the mineral of Congo here. Because the whole world knows that Congolese mineral is in this laptop, these iPhones.
Everyone needs to know that
So,
here.
of course, you can go to the company trying to audit them. They will give you a chain of supply chain on where they get their mineral. But you will never see Congo. In the chain, you will never see Congo. At the end of the day, when you look at some of the dealers, you see those are people or countries who do not produce these minerals. How are you buying from a market that does not produce? And what are they getting these things?
All we see is made in China, and we're like, okay, sounds
What-
good.
where
It
are
was in
they-
China. China did it.
Where are they getting this stuff if they're not producing them? And if they're not buying into the process of claiming justice for the Congolese people, and they're making money, means they are also perpetrators. Means they have to come to justice too. Because when they knew that there's blood in the product they're utilizing, they didn't stand up for reparation. Because they have to help this country heal. Say, no, there have been so much damage we didn't know. Now we know, we have to stand up with these people.
And I think we have to stand up, back to what I was talking about, we have to stand up as people, specifically in the Western world, but specifically in America, we have to stand up as individuals and stop pointing fingers at other people and start reflecting on ourselves and say, we can come together, America is very divided right now too. You know, this country that I live in is very divided, and it does not have to be. We are dividing ourselves, or we are letting ourselves be divided by others who want to manipulate us and control us. And instead we need to come together, we need to reflect, and then we need to demand that the companies that we purchase our laptops from or our materials from, we say, hey, we want to know where these products are being sourced from. We want to know that, yeah, the products have to come from somewhere, and we understand,
of course.
but the people in the Congo need to benefit from the natural resources in the Congo.
Exactly. We don't care that people use our mineral, but we care about our lives. To not be facing what we have been facing. To care about our country being also reconstructed. At least win-win relationship. You know, if we can have a peace, they have a peace, we will see our peace is going to a road, a hospital, a school, you know. But when whatever is going back to the Congo is getting into the pocket of a corrupted leader, they corrupt a leader to sign a contract, they corrupt another one to do this for them to take whatever they are taking. You feed one stomach to kill 12 million. Just for one person, you kill 12 million. This is unacceptable.
It's unacceptable, and
It's unacceptable.
we need to stand up against this, because unfortunately it's not just happening in the Congo. Unfortunately it's happening in the Middle East. Unfortunately it's happening south of the border here in the Americas, in Mexico, in Central America, in South America with the drug war. You know, we have to stop all of these practices because we're killing each other.
Yes, yes. So humanity cannot go further if we have to sacrifice our own brothers and sisters in order to fly to Mars. So for you to fly to Mars, you have to sacrifice the entire country and see people dying because you wanted to run or to drive an electrical car. Because this is the deal. Congo still remain at the center of business and deals. It is not late for them to do the right thing. It is not late. Technologies keep going because now the world is running faster than ourselves. And Congo is at the center of these deals. They will make a choice, continue to feed individuals, sign private secret contracts with the black market to exploit what they want, or to work hands in hands of this country so we can see development in these countries too. The way Europe is developed, the way America is developed, Africa can also be developed. Why not? Why not?
Why not? And especially the Congo, where you have all of the resources. It's the second largest country in all of Africa, behind Nigeria.
Yes.
First largest in sub-Saharan Africa. There's no reason. Now, what about the other side of the coin, though? What do you think that the development of the country could cause other harms? Or do you feel like the development of the country is necessary so that you can stand up for yourselves and be independent?
We can say that those who made the deals before, they made it with wrong people. The people who made them think that working with Congolese directly, you will not benefit much. You have to work through us. And there's no way when the development begins, the need for much more bigger development increases. And this needs partnership, collaboration, bilateral relationship. You cannot develop by yourself. Of course, some countries are capable of doing that because of the resources they have. But who are they going to do business or trade? They will need other countries to do trade with. Always. I don't even see how the development of an African country can affect or negatively other countries. We are the center of 9 neighbors. We have 9 neighboring countries. It's exceptional. In Africa, we have other countries who have much more many neighbors, like China's and Russia and whatever. But in Africa, I think we are one of the countries that have 9 neighbors. Our development will directly develop those other countries. And the violence happening in Congo, the conflict in the Congo, will definitely affect other countries. If we don't have peace, none of those countries will ever have peace.
It's like a momentum thing.
Yes.
With the Congo is at the center of it, and if the Congo benefits, everyone else benefits.
Everyone else benefits because the Congolese people have very good, hospitable spirit. They are very good people. They have always been good. Now we are sick of what we have experienced, we have lived. So we are a little bit difficult to manage because of the trauma that is getting bigger and bigger. And before it becomes too late, we need to begin implementing the options. At least the UN proposed something useful. They proposed the options of transitional justice. So there are mechanisms for transitional justice that can bring reconciliation, peace, reparation in the Congo. But at some point, we are seeing leaders trying to talk reconciliation without reparation, or just talk peace without reconciliation. These are things that can never happen. You go and say, no, okay, we have peace, the Congolese people have conflict with Uganda. You go and sign a treaty with Uganda. You sign that peace treaty with Uganda or a business deal with Uganda for Uganda to come and reconstruct your country or do something. If the people in the Congo still have grudges against Uganda, whatever you do, it will clash tomorrow. So, what the Congolese want, first of all, they want the world to know. To know that, yes, we have been staged, we are being used, and we are being exploited. Beyond what the colonizer did, beyond what the slave master did. Because the slavery didn't take 12 million from Congo. They didn't take 12 million people. No. The person who killed more Congolese in the world is known, is King Leopold II. When he owned it, he killed 10 million. It is documented. And he was cutting people's hands as well, if you don't deliver what he wants. So now the second taken 12 million. And yet the world doesn't want us to talk about 12 million. It's somehow not understandable that we can be even silent to talk about what we went through. And that's the very reason why, as I came as a refugee, as I said, in this country, now I have peace. And I've seen how much our people here in the diaspora, they have become like very submissive to foreigners than to themselves. So between Congolese themselves, they have conflict, plenty of conflict. Because everybody's trying to blame the other for what have happened to his family. So what my family went through, because the people from the East, they let those perpetrators enter our country. And the people from West, they didn't come for help, to help us. So you see, people became blaming themselves instead of looking outside where this originated from. So when I came here, among all the communities, I saw only my community were still isolated. Just in 2014. 2015, in the morning of 2015, I woke up and look, where is my community? I'm new, I need a community to support me so I can also integrate properly. And there was no one for me. There was no one to turn to. You know, when you have been through this journey of trauma and you have watched a lot of violence in front of you, you don't trust people quickly. You feel like everybody's trying to collect information out of you.
Just like today.
So that's how it became. We didn't want to share, and that it has been like Congolese don't trust people, but they are very quick to lie. Because they say, truth will harm. Let me lie a little bit. And then they were feeding the system with lies. Because that's what they want. And I said, no, I have to put an end to this. At least, my goal was to isolate my community first. Represent them. Because if you're not represented, also your voice is going nowhere. Somebody has to stand for you, so your voice can go to the table of decision makers. But although we have been represented now, we are we are being served, we are being counted also, but still the very reason why our people are immigrating here is not known. 95% of Americans don't know why a Congolese can live and become a immigrant here. Or trying to confuse with other very reason of other countries who are coming here. No, we have very special reason to be in this country. And to all the country around the world. It's because we are being used, exploited. And for us to survive, we ran. We left our countries. I want to also educate the American about the confusion around immigration and resettlement. Because sometime when leaders here are trying to vote about, okay, we want to help other people who are in trouble, I see so many voices raised to fight against those policies. Americans should remember that this country has been founded on values. Some of those values are also the gratitude of those who came here before. And those who came here before recognize that they have been welcomed well. And that's the very reason why we have Thanksgiving in this country. That some people came, they have been welcomed and given a chance to prosper in this land. So, if those who came before, they are grateful to those who welcomed them. Okay, what about we who are coming now? Don't we have also the reason to be part of this society, which has everything? And I want to remind also Americans that resettlement is a charitable mission of this country to do good to others so they can continue to benefit from the blessings from God in whom they trust. Because Americans, they trust in God. And they want to bless others so God can continue blessing them. That's the very reason why this country has multicultural. People from around the world. It's multi-ports, this country. For those people to be here, that's the secret of the blessings of this country. The secret of the peace that this country has is its diversity. For those who want to say, okay, we want to accept other but no Congolese to immigrate in this country, but remember that these people coming with tears. They're coming here in tears from what is happening back home. And we need you. We didn't dream to come. We can stay in our country, but help us stop what is happening in our country. If we stop what is happening in our country, you will see people will begin to come in our country. They will no longer desire to come here. They will come in our country and we will take care of them because we have everything to do so. We come in here for jobs, but the corrupted people in Congo, they are wealthier than even people here. We have, if we can talk about richest people in the world, those who are been selling the uranium in the Congo, this big mineral that developing the country, they are richer than the people you guys know here. They're very rich, but their rich wealth is not documented, no bank, no nothing. So people should be reminded about that. But it's only because those are corrupted people. They don't want to share. But here we have the spirit of sharing, which makes the difference. So that policy is done. So we need to educate you as citizen, and even the government. Because I see people are ignoring the power that you give to those you elect. If you don't know how much power you give to them, then you should learn from today that you are giving them not only power over you, but over the world. America is still the only country that has a word, a strong word, to stop anything, any conflict around the world. The UN can decide to not cooperate with Congolese to create the International Criminal Tribunal to convict the perpetrators who have killed 12 million people and raped 10 million women in the Congo. But US, if we partner with the American, we can do that. And that's why we need to raise awareness. We bring to the awareness of American, those who put people in the position of power. If the government is not listening, if you can listen, then you can talk to those you elected to do what is necessary. I think that's the very reason why we are organizing this conference in September in this country. We want to talk to the American, the citizen. So, because they have been stopped or prevented to know what is going on. They have been silenced. So we want to speak of the things that your leaders have been silencing, or those who are funding these things are silencing. So you guys can help us talk to the leaders that you put on this position of power to say, listen, stop what is going on in the Congo and do a partnership, win-win partnership with Congo.
Hell yes.
Yes, and I remember, I want to remind this, there was the Vice President, Kamala Harris, he once called the President of Congo, and he talked about the human rights violations that are happening in the Congo. I mean, the government of America know what is going on in the Congo. It's only you who do not know, but the government knows. So, we want you to know so you can help us talk to your elected officials about these things. At least ask them, are these things real? Or, what is real among these things, and what can we do to stop them? Because at least those who don't want so many people to come in this country, they have something to do, to advocate so these people can have peace and stay home. We can do that.
It's hard for me to imagine, I mean, just a little bit about myself. My father is from Turkey. He came here for college, and so I have lots of family overseas. And I'm not an immigrant myself, but I've met lots of immigrants, and I can see, you know, the way that you look at America, the way that you value.
We value this country.
You value this country as a light for the world, and it's not because we only do good things. It's not because we don't exploit other countries. It's not because we haven't done horrible things even within our own country. It's because we are the ideal. We are the place, hopefully, I would hope, for people to come and live here freely if they cannot live in their own land freely. And then, hopefully, instead of being the country that just goes in with our guns and levels a place, or, you know, puts troops on the ground, I hope that we could be a place where we do things like this, where we talk about it, where we bring it to light, and we say, hey, we can do better together. We can come together as Americans, as people of this earth, and we can treat each other well, and we can have amazing things. We don't have to pick, but we have to wake up, and we have to stop, in America, this is just my personal opinion, we have to stop pointing fingers at each other and saying, you're driving a gas truck, I don't like you, or you vote Republican, I don't like you, or you vote Democrat, I don't like you, or you this, I don't like you. We have to stop that shit. We have everything that we need to be powerful. We have everything we need to welcome people like you into our country who need help, provide you with the support necessary, and then, like you said, if and when you want to, you return back to your home and enjoy your life.
And we work together.
And we work together.
You see, you see, that's what people don't really remember. If I've been helped in this country, or you have helped me, and it happened that I go back in my country, I will never forget you, you know? I will treat you well. If your children come in my country, I will treat them very well. Because I will still have in mind that, okay, I have everything that I have because Kurt welcomed me well in his country, you know? America, by the fact of welcoming us and empowering, we become friends. And if we go back in our country, our first partner will be America. You know? So this is very important to know that the country here has so much power. And the way we see you that people that God blessed and gave you the power to lead, to rule. But if you can still watch people suffering, being killed, massacred, raped women, children, little children, being thrown in the water, and you are not speaking, I'm not the one who will judge you. God will judge you. Because this country has values. This is the moral responsibility of America has to be discussed. We have to discuss that you have moral responsibility on everything that's happening in the world. Because you are the wealthiest country in the world.
We're the wealthiest and, still for now, the freest.
The freest.
The most, we have the most ability
Yes.
for any one person. If you're born in the south side of Chicago, you can grow up to be Kanye West. You know? You can do whatever you want in this country.
Yeah.
Not saying it's easy.
And wherever you can go, you be welcome, right?
And not saying it's easy,
Mhm.
right? Not saying that lots of people aren't held back and oppressed here.
Yeah.
But in comparison to the rest of the world, we're not having 12 million people die.
No.
We're not having 6 million people have to leave the country.
Yeah, because of insecurity or...
You know, and we have so much potential, and you have potential. Everyone has potential, and throughout the whole world.
Yes.
We just have to come together and
Yeah.
realize it.
And I want to invite people to really join our voice. And if you are a believer, let me say it in general, if you're a believer somewhere, you believe in the divine providence, you believe in the gift of life that we have, look at yourself and how much you love yourself. Despite the fact that we may have different colors, but we have the same feeling, the same desire. No one would like to suffer or to experience the bad things that I just mentioned. And we are human beings. For the believer, I'm inviting them to begin to speak and stand against every single negativity happening around the world, not only in my country, but everywhere. And also, because here I'm talking about my country, it has endured into this crisis for so many years, and 12 million, just listen, 12 million is too much. I'm inviting you to come and learn much more to the conference that we are organizing in September. Here in Washington State, the conference will probably take place in Seattle University. And it will be between the week of 18th to 27th. So it coincides with the National Immigrant Day, that day. That have been proclaimed by even the Pope Francis, declared the month of September to be the month of immigrants.
Yeah, it says the Vatican's World Day of Migrants and Refugees is 9/26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also, we will have all the religious leaders from Congo, from different denominations. They will be coming here. And we'll have some members of the government who will be here as well, to begin this campaign of raising awareness, speaking to the citizen, American citizen. We want to now reach out to the American citizen. We have already talked to the government. If they didn't listen, we believe you, when you hear this message, you will not keep quiet.
And we have to pressure those politicians into listening because, Floribert, you not only wrote some documentation about this for Washington, but you also hand-delivered it to Washington. Is that correct?
Yes. I went to Washington, D.C. and delivered a petition. I petitioned the new president about the concerns of Congo. And I proposed two options as solutions. And the first one, for the legislator, American legislator, to vote for a reconstruction plan of Congo, the same way they supported the reconstruction plan of Germany and Japan. We want one for Congo too. It has to come from the House of Representatives. That's the voice of the American people. I propose also for the Congolese, we who are here, we need also healing. And the healing process begins with centers. We need organized, we have more 10 states in America that resettle much more Congolese. And in those states, I propose that we have healing centers. Because there have been so much damage in Congolese. Live among them to understand what I'm talking about. Myself, I'm experiencing a lot of things. And I'm leading not easily. It is just because it's a focus and a purpose I set. That's why I'm continuing to help. So America should begin to invest in us. Why? Because we remain ideal partner for development of the technology.
And
the Americans still need us.
And if you were to talk geopolitically for a second, take away the humanitarian aspect of it, take away all of that. If the United States were to partner with the Congo and develop the resources of the Congo in partnership with them, and you were correct that if the Congo develops, then the rest of Africa will benefit and develop. There's a huge race for the resources and for the partnership of these African nations. And right now, China is probably leading that race. Is that correct?
Yes. China is leading the race, and America knows that China is leading the race in the Congo. So we are offering an opportunity for this country to discuss, to decide and see the future. To see the future. Especially, I'm not a prophet, but I will prophesize here. I'll prophesize because the prophecies come from my own analysis, analytic minds. I'm saying if America doesn't want to work with us, Congolese, China will take over not only Congo but the entire Africa. And China will rule the earth. That's a prophecy. If you don't want to work with us, China will rule the earth. And very, very soon. So you don't have much time.
How long do we have?
This is a matter of between now and 2030. Between now and 2030.
9 years.
9 years. We only have 9 years. And in 9 years, if China take over the world, China will wage war against this country to put it down forever.
Wow. That's concerning.
It is concerning, and it's a challenge that we have on the table.
a challenge we're up for, right?
Yes. So now, if American citizens don't understand my words, then the prophecy will come true.
And we will be destroyed.
Yes.
Wow. I can't see where you're wrong. I can't see where you're wrong when we're talking about the world as it is today, with technology driving it,
Yes.
and then the resources, the natural resources needed for that technology reside largely
Largely
in the second to largest country in the largest continent
Yes.
on Earth, and we have the two superpowers of the world right now, pretty
Right now.
much, United States and China, competing for the
resources.
competing for the resources, but not just the resources, competing for the partnership,
The partnership.
with you and the Congolese. And we have to, as Americans, say, we want to be the Congolese partners. We want to not exploit the Congolese, but we want to work with them. We want to empower them to stand on their own feet,
Yes.
and to provide resources to us and the rest of the world so that we can keep going along this technological revolution.
Yeah, the technological revolution is going very far. Tomorrow, we have electrical cars, but also we'll begin to fly as human beings. Don't forget about that.
Keep talking, I'm just going to check the camera.
Yes.
Keep talking, please.
Yes. What I'm saying tomorrow is that the technology will make us use the space. The same way fishes occupy the water and they travel in numbers, in millions, without hitting each other's. That the same way we will begin to utilize the space. Because the ground is full. This was supposed to be for us to leave our houses. The earth, we build our houses, we leave. Communication, transportation are supposed to be in the air. That's what it was meant for. Now it's empty. It's only some airplane going. But we too, we need to fly, to begin to fly. And that's where the technology is taking us. And just imagine the mineral, the material that will take us to that level will come from my country. So if I'm talking about traveling in the space, because I know that those minerals are in our country.
We're the perfect partners, if you think about it, the United States and the Congo.
Yeah.
Two very large countries, two countries that one has gone through the Industrial Revolution and through Westernization and is capable of producing lots of thoughtful minds, lots of creativity.
Yes.
And then we have the Congo, where of course there are minds like that as well, but there's also the natural resources to put
Exactly.
together.
Yes, exactly.
I think you got to make it happen. I think you're going to make it happen.
We gotta make, not myself, all of us, we have to make it happen. We have to make it happen. So, we have a chance to speak today to you directly, and to invite you to join us to learn more, because this is just, these are just things we are speaking, but there's so much more things to learn.
Things to learn and things to do.
Things to do. I was not reading. At least if I were reading what I wrote here in English, I'm not an English speaker, English is my second language, you would have understood better. But if you didn't well understand, then reach out. Reach out, and we'll give you space to learn. And we can also prophesize or predict based on what we know. We can predict things. And I'm happy that, thank you so much, Carl, for having us today. And yeah.
It's very much been my pleasure. I would, if do you still have time, or do you want to wrap things up? You need to get
I
going?
still have time for questions. Yes.
Time for questions. Okay, well, I would really like to give people the opportunity to hear a little bit about the organization that you're working in here locally to help people that are from the Congo, refugees, to integrate and to live here, and some things that you were talking about the other night when we were at our Rotary meeting.
Of course, yeah. Thank you so much for. So I run an organization called the Congolese Integration Network. So the Congolese Integration Network was formed in 2016, and it's a 501c3 organization, and we work in the area of education, healthcare, and also workforce development. So in the area of education, this is what we do. We acknowledge that we have survived not only violence, but also war. And when we come in this country, we come with a lot of differences, like imbalance between who we are and who we're supposed to be. And that at least put us in a vulnerability vis-a-vis other Americans if we are not educated or help to adjust. And that adjustment doesn't have just to happen to adults, with children too. That's why the Congolese Integration Network work with early learning children, like under 5 years old children, because we understand these children are part of families who are maybe single-parented head of families, a single parent, or a widow, or a victim survivor of rape from our country. And some of the children were born out of rape. And these women come here with those children. They don't really have a family bond with them. It is like the child is a trigger to the family, the mother. So what we do, we organize ourselves in a home visit and pay twice a week a visit to this family. And part of the visit, the work we do, to help these women become the first educators of their children, to learn how Americans educate their own children, and also provide the resources that these children need to begin to adjust with the knowledge of any American child. The toys, the books, and stuff like that. So by the school, it's a school readiness. When the child will go to school, will have the same level of understanding and knowledge of other American children. But look, these children are coming from a war-torn country. They are coming, they have experienced a lot of things, they have survived a lot of things. But the work we do fix them mentally and get them ready for school in America. So those are the children grow up, they become better citizens, normal as any other. So any child who went through that program will not be classified as, yes, a victim, survivor, or something, or trauma, no. Will be good. So we have this program of young people, we call it in our youth development. So our youth development program we have 3 strategies in place. The first one is to stop the school to prison pipeline by empowering the young people to become academically fit and successful and build relationships in their family. So the children, they have a family bond with the parents as they are growing, and supporting their parents who delay to learn English or something, and to give them a role in the family so that they play also a role to support, to make the family move and adjust quickly. This program, in the same time, is helping these children to build better relationship and change behavior at school, because it's playing on the behavior. So our role is to learn from the parent what the development issues for the child, and learn from the teacher or the school what is going on with the child, and work holistically to change the child. So it is another different approach from counseling. So we came to realize that the mainstream counseling, yes, they work better for Americans, but for us, immigrants and refugees, it was not working well. So we have our own practice to make it happen and help our own community members really fix and adjust and heal. So we use also mentorship. And a mentorship is to match the child or the youth with a mentor, a person who has been successful in life, a person who finishes his college, a person who is an engineer or a doctor or something, who is a successful person, so that that relationship, the child can begin to learn from the mentor. The mentor will tell the story of his success and work with him to begin to instill the desire of becoming successful in this country. And through that mentorship, we have already changed so many young people. So many were already at the door of prison pipeline. But now, that is no longer their life. They're at the door of drug addicts. That today is no longer their lives. They're at the door of gang. Now is no longer their lives. So these children now, they are changing the direction. And we are doing it in a way that it's not seen that this is what we're doing. But it is happening because it's a matter of a strategy. And since they are new in the country, we realize that yes, environmental stewardship is very important. We need to help them learn their environment, learn their neighbors, learn about their park and the resources around them. So we are having them, through the program, do some work at the park, do some work at public space, go different trip and visit and picnic. So they are learning, and they go with mentor, people who have the knowledge. So we work with the Port of Seattle, we work with the YMCA, we work with so many organizations that are supporting this initiative. And we are willing to expand to work with every single organization that's willing to invest in this type of activities, because with the funding we have right now, we cannot do much. We have limited numbers of them, those we can serve, but we want their impact to go beyond our own community in other communities. So we can hire people from those communities to work with the people in their communities. So we have a health board. And our health board, it's a community health board. It's not made up with doctors or clinicians, no. Community members, social workers, who understand the determinants of health. The determinants of health are beyond the clinic, the health point. They are beyond those things. It is housing. It is job. It is justice, equity. It is racism. Those things are determinant of health. Because if somebody discriminates against me, it will affect my health. If I'm kicked out of the house because I didn't have enough to pay my rent, it will affect my health.
Stress affects health.
Stress affects health. If I'm going to the hospital and I'm unable to communicate with the doctor that I'm having pain in my stomach because I don't know how to say it, it's affecting my health. Look, that's a health board we have in place. It's a network of community members discussing about these issues and helping the community to overcome them. So those are the type of things we do here in America, in Washington State, in King County, in South King County. We are doing this work. I know so many people are willing to help and participate or support. It is a place you can reach out, we sit down, and we give you an opportunity also to do what your heart is calling you to do. For the refugee, for an immigrant, for women, single women, for widow, for orphans. We have all these people here. And now, our organization is our rental space is becoming very small. And we need large space. Some people have the possibilities of helping us access place. During the pandemic, the COVID, we realized that, of course, this place is strange to us. We don't have a place to convene, to gather anymore. We need to feel home. And to feel home, the government, the private, the individuals who are listening to us, are there, they can help us. They can help us secure at least a community center. We are almost the only organized organization that doesn't have a community center. Other organization, community, they have community centers. We are new, of course we understand we are new, but we need community centers as well. You know, in the area where we live, we convene our people, we celebrate our culture. We need to celebrate our culture, we need a space for that, you see. So because adjusting with American culture does not mean that you forget your culture. It doesn't mean so. So as we are adjusting, but we still have to remember our culture too. And we need also space for businesses, you know. In our community, the way we used to organize, we have someone doing barber shop, we have someone to do restaurant, we have someone, one day you were willing to eat Congolese food, you know, to discover Congolese culture as well. Our dance, we have the best dancers in Africa. The Congolese music is the best in Africa, called the rumba, Congolese rumba. So, yes, we want to be part of the community, and we want to partner with you to do so much more. Maybe tomorrow, organize trip from America to Congo, so we can take people from over here to go and see that country that God has given so much. So do you know that we have the second largest rainforest in the world?
In the Congo?
Yes. After Amazon forest, the Congo forest is the second largest in the world. When we talk about climate change, look, we still have also something to offer.
That's where the silverback gorillas are, right? In that rainforest?
We have okapi, the rarest animals in the world. Okapi.
Okay.
Okapi. If you just type okapi, only Congo has those things.
How do you spell it?
It's just O-K-A-P-I. Okapi. Those are the animals that.
Oh, it looks like a zebra and a antelope.
Yeah, yes, those are in Kisangani. If you come in Congo, you see those.
Oh my gosh, and a giraffe. Like a zebra,
Yeah,
giraffe.
it is a special animal.
Gosh.
And this animal doesn't live any other way in the world. Some people have been taking them during the war, the conflict. They just go and take them, but they were not successful to raise them. Not successful.
Well, back to the CIN, the Congolese Integration Network.
Yeah.
Are there opportunities for people if they want to either donate or to volunteer their time?
Yes, yeah, there are so many opportunities. We are organizing the Refugees and Immigrants Week in Washington State, the first ever Refugee and Immigrants Week. There will be sports, soccer tournament, there will be talent show, and there will be performance like storytelling. So this is an opportunity, first of all, for those Americans who hear about immigrants and refugees from the radio or from newspapers to come and listen the stories of these people from their own mouth. So they will speak, they will tell their stories, they will sing, they will dance, you know. And it is a place we can volunteer, we can donate to be part of it, to support it. I believe this Refugee and Immigrants Week, we started this year, the end of this month, the last week of this month, of July 2021, and it will continue every year. So it is an activity that will be trademarking. It will be trademarked, and we will own it. The Congolese Integration Network will own it. And also we have a website, www.cincr.org.
CINSeattle.org. I'll make sure to put that in the description as well.
Yeah, so cincr.org, there is a donation link. It goes straight to us. And of course, we will be recognized because we are a 501c3 organization. And also, you can contact us with phone or text or message 253 344 6090. And that phone number will be also on the screen here as we are talking. So people are welcome to join, and we are also open to reach out to you. If you invite us, we can come and speak to your event or in your community and share these stories with you, and so much more that we didn't have a chance to speak about here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to talk about here today? I know this is a heavy subject, something that is obviously very close to you.
Yes.
So I don't want to cut it short. I've got plenty of time. If you want to talk a little bit more, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I want to just say that, yes, here we have a saying that Black life matters. But I want to tell people that Congolese life matters too. Congolese life matters too, and also American lives matters too. Every life matters. And a life taken in America, it's a life taken in the world. A life taken in Congo, it is a life taken in the world. It's a loss for all of us. So I wanted just to say that the moral responsibilities of American people is beyond what you know. America have been given a chance to play a big role, not only here, but in the world. The way people outside America sees this country or understand this country is beyond what you guys know. Other people, they think this place is where heaven exists. Although they are wrong, but just imagine if other people thinking that coming here, they're coming to heaven, and you live here, you don't even care or know what have been offered by God to you. Just come back and think. We are bringing to you the conference. It is Heart for Congo conference, because you are listening from a Congolese mouth. So the Heart for Congo conference will come to present tangible ways we can work for justice, truth, reconciliation, reparation, and peace in the Congo. We don't just want peace. No. We want justice, we want truth, we want reconciliation, and we want reparation. So I'm not blaming any company here or any government, but those who are involved in the Congolese crisis, they know themselves. From wherever they are, if justice is not coming from human beings, it will come from God. So, you have just one chance and one thing you can do to make sure that you are spared by the justice that is coming. Invest in the reparation process. Reparation process, that's why all the victim survivors in the country will keep the legacy of the healing that is happening. Reconstruction, we need to reconstruct our country with justice. When people will begin to repair, we build our country. So you can begin to invest in reparation earlier. Reparation in this country, they call it in different ways. It's when you have a victim, you educate that victim, you are helping him heal. It's a form of reparation. Because he will be empowered and will no longer stay as a very vulnerable. And he can know the best way to do things in his country. When you give money to the organization that's promoting justice in the Congo, or promoting transitional justice in the Congo, you are participating in the reparation. So all these big companies, I'm inviting them, before justice hits, to begin to invest in reparation. and to stop to continue exploiting Congo on the black market. No, we don't want that. If you want to do business with Congo, go talk to the government and make sure the government is not corrupted. Or they are not using your money or investment to corrupt each other. You have to be the policy, the police of your money as well. Because we have to stop corruption in our country. We have to stop it. And we need your hands, your support to stop corruption in our country as well. So it is just an invitation. And I believe we will come back here again to do much more broadcasting on this particular event, the Congolese, the Heart of Congo conference that we are organizing. And this is the place we want you to volunteer as well. We want you to donate as well, or to sponsor. You can be part of it. Right now we need sponsors. We need volunteers to help us with the logistics. We are welcoming people from outside, and we don't have much. We don't have the budget and money to do that ourselves. We need to work with people to do that.
So if people are here listening and they want to help support and they want to help with the reparation process,
Yes.
and they want to be part of a solution,
Yes.
they can help in September
Yes.
for this conference.
Yes.
Okay.
If you want to be part of the solution for what is happening in the Congo, and to know about all the resources that the world needs today for the development of technology and everything, the September conference is an opportunity to come, because we will create the working groups. The people will continue working on different subjects, and you can be part of it. Yes.
With great power comes great responsibility. We are all in this country, by God or the universe's will,
Yeah.
we are given the opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to make a great impact and a great change on the rest of the world,
Yes.
disproportional to the amount of change that anyone throughout all of history has pretty much been able to make.
Exactly.
So let's take that responsibility seriously. Let's take that power seriously. Let's not let these media outlets and bureaucrats divide us anymore.
Yes.
Let's work together and try to find solutions that will be win-wins, that will benefit
Yeah.
people in all areas and not just a few people over here in the corner.
Yes, not. Yeah, exactly. You have said it well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Floribert. Thank you so much for listening. Much appreciated. Anything else before we stop the recording?
I have just gratitude to you guys who have listened from the beginning to the end. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time. Very important. If you ever want to come back and speak, it's an open invitation.
I will come.
This is not something that can be discussed in full in one sitting. So,
No.
all right.
There's
Thank you very
so
much.
much more.
So much more. All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.